You can. Why do I have YouTube open? Okay, I started the stream. Yeah, even when I go to bed early though, sadly it's still never enough.
I feel that.
Cause you know me, I need like 12 hours of sleep to feel fully rested.
Yep.
And so it literally, I would have to just go to bed right now to get a full night's sleep. And it's like, I just got home. I don't want to spend my days going to work and then going to sleep. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
I want some time to do stuff outside of work, but that means having to give up the ability to sleep. It's the same struggle I had during high school, and I have returned to those same struggles.
Except you're getting paid for it.
Yeah, at least this time I'm getting paid for it. Woo! I literally spent the whole day today filling out paperwork. So much paperwork.
Ew.
But yeah, technically I was supposed to do it on my first day, but there was like a cyber attack that they were expecting to happen because apparently it was the anniversary of like the attack last year. So basically
They have a schedule for that?
well, like last year it was like I think it was like I don't know. I don't know the details too well, but there was like a specific event that happened, and then that led to like an attack, and then this was like the anniversary of that. So the FBI was like warning people in the Kansas governments or whatever that it would probably happen again, and so
Did it?
yep, it did. The entire like because the internet was fine, it was just all of the internal stuff was wrecked. So none of the statewide stuff worked, like regardless of where you were in the state, it was not working.
Oh boy.
And I found out pretty early on that it was statewide because one of my friends. Also, hi Azure, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
How's it going? I love ya. You're the best. Also, actually, Azure, the funniest thing is I was hired at the same time as another person for the front desk. Like, we were both hired at the same time from, like, the same pool of applicants. The only difference is that she was, I guess, around here, so she started in June, like, right when we were hired, whereas I'm starting now, of course. And apparently she experienced the exact same thing on her first day. It got everything got hacked and they couldn't do anything. And so it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we started at 2 different times and yet we both had the same first day experience. Who would have thought? Who would have guessed?
That's wild.
Yep. And so basically I did like nothing my first day. Like I had a tour of the facilities. I was supposed to do the paperwork and stuff, but I couldn't because all the systems were down. So I was just chilling at the front desk with everybody, and that was like pretty much the whole day was me just chilling. And I ended up doing like some random like busy work behind the front desk of like I was cutting up papers and then like stapling papers and doing that kind of like menial tasks. It's like this was my first day. But yeah, so and apparently that was better than the other girl's first day, because she said that they didn't even have that for her when that all happened. She just sat and watched like another one of our coworkers as she was like sitting there and doing her work and just like sitting there.
Well, at least it wasn't corpse party.
Yeah.
Could have accidentally been like transported to a death.
Yep. And that would have been fun.
Place.
But yeah, so because of that, like, I didn't really do much my first day besides like see the place and whatnot. And as I said, I knew that it was like, I had heard from my supervisor that they mentioned it like across the state, like if things weren't working at the DMV or at like through the K tag, which is like the toll booth things either, apparently all that stuff was broken too. And then I heard from my like family friend who works in like the transportation department. She's like, yeah, it's not working over here either. So it was like across the board, like none of the state stuff was working that whole day. So yeah, so my first day, nothing really. And then today it was like, now I get to do all the paperwork because now I can actually access the paperwork. So I spent pretty much the entire day just looking through papers and signing papers and then scanning those papers to turn it in. And I was like stressing out over some things and sending pictures to my parents so they could help me out with it. Only for like at the very end of the day, I ended up having a meeting with one of the people up top who was like sending me all the papers, where she literally went over all the papers and stuff. Like there was like a whole PowerPoint presentation, and I'm like, I already did that now. And I could tell that she was not expecting the fact that I just did it all that fast, but I just don't like leaving things undone. And like when I start working, I'm working. So I finished that all up. Like the only thing I have left to do is health insurance. Like I just have to fill out stuff for health insurance and then I'll be all done in that regard. But yeah, so tomorrow I'm starting training. Like I'll be taking courses and stuff to learn about everything, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I'm definitely not doing the insurance tonight because I'm done with paperwork for today. I just don't really want to I don't want to touch any of it right now. So I'll probably, after this, I'm just gonna finish going through my socials and then maybe
go to bed.
Well, I'll probably like read some stuff and then go to bed. There's like several fics I'm wanting to read or in the middle of reading, so I want to at least read some. Well, yeah, that's what I meant, Azure. I texted Azure in the DMs because he was asking about how my first day was, and I said it was a time. Because it wasn't really a bad time, it wasn't really a good time, it was just a time.
Yeah.
It was an experience.
Okay, so
yeah.
What happened here the last time, Anya?
We almost are done with another hour. I remember that much. I think I literally
Do
was
you
like...
remember anything else?
I don't remember anything else. I just remember we were almost done with the hour, and I was like, do we want to just, like, go for it? And you were like, no. And then that was that.
Yep.
But I think definitely the plot has been, like, moving much faster, because I feel
It's
like...
been thickening.
Yeah, I feel like it's not dragging as much as some of the earlier chapters. At least that's how I've been feeling. Like, I've enjoyed the whole experience, but I do feel like now the plot is really starting to go. Whereas in the past, there were times where it felt like just long stretches of stuff that I probably won't remember when this is over. But yeah.
Last time, Maria remembered everything about who she was and what she had to do with Canon, and we learned more about Alphard, or as I like to call them, Alpharad.
Heck yeah.
And we also discovered why separate groups of people are after Hitomi.
Yeah.
One of them is after her because she has the Ua virus cure inside of her, and the other side want her because they need somebody with Bombay blood to have an accident so they can transfer her heart fast.
Yep. And I remember that we also learned about, like, Kenan and Kano finally had, like, a talk where she revealed a lot of the stuff that we had already, like, discovered to him. Kind of revealing that Alphard was trying to, like, have a bunch of imperfect plans so that everything would work out as long as one thing does, but then, like, Alphard didn't, because Alphard is apparently, like, just an agent of chaos that just likes to go wherever.
Just has a Batman Joker gambit.
Yeah. But then they weren't expecting Tateno to join the fray and to mess things up. And so even though he thought of himself as the bad guy, in a way, he's the whole reason we're all still alive at this point in time. And now we're all converging to the same place.
Yes.
Because we're about to meet up with like, it's literally gonna be Kanan, Kano, Maria.
And we found out more about Minoru Kara and how he's related to everything, because he's the journalist, the reporter. So he already knew a lot of shit and gave information to Kano.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody's met up. So
yeah, we're about to see how that whole shindig goes.
Yeesh.
And whether that all works out. Oh yeah, and I forgot that now we only have 4 people.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that, for real. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Alpharad, Alucard. Achi told Stanley and Hitomi what his father had done. As she listened, Hitomi hung her head. Her face was
Sallow.
Sallow? I've never heard that
Yeah.
word. I'm so sorry. I'm not really sure what to say. He clenched his fist so hard his knuckles popped, struggling to keep his emotions in check.
So, if I were rendered brain dead, you could help your sister. I almost said that like rendered. Like, a woo. A state where brain function has ceased irreversibly. In Japan, there are two conditions for declaring brain death. The first is that the patient must be comatose in a state of apnea and no longer breathing due to damage to the brain. The second is that the root cause is diagnosed, is deemed that no reasonable treatment will restore brain function. Or, like with my dad, 75% of the cells they've just destroyed themselves, so...
Yeah. Big hugs. Stop! Please, don't say things like that. A sad look came to Hitomi's face, and she pressed her right hand to her heart.
I mean, to find out like this, I just have to cover my small titty.
Touch the soft tete. She turned to Achi, tears glistening in her eyes.
I want to help your sister, but...
We have other things to worry about right now. This time it was Stanley who cut her off. Remember, Alphard is after you, Hitomi. Isn't that what Kanan told you?
Yes, she said I was the mastermind's target.
Hitomi wiped her tears away with her fingertips. So Alphard and Achi's father are after the same thing. Is that just a coincidence? It didn't sound like he thought so. Hold up. Yeah, my dad's way out of line, but he did what he did for Suzune. He wouldn't work with terrorists. I'm not saying he's deliberately aiding terrorists. It's common sense that a pro wouldn't get an amateur involved with their plans. Can't believe Alpharad and Adachi are working together. The scandal. You hate to see it. That makes it too likely that a clumsy misstep will cause things to fall apart. But then again, that's not the way Alphard thinks. So actually, the likelihood of failure could well be part of the plan. Achi thought back to what Kanan had said earlier.
If you achieve your goals using accidental means, the outline becomes blurred, and it makes it harder for anyone outside looking in to grasp what the actual plan is. Not only have they put together a perfect plan, they purposely left certain tiny holes in it.
So if we assume the plan has failed, this slip-up might be exactly what Alphard wants. Sort of an intentional hole then. Kanan told you guys that too, huh? If that's the case, then you really are a fool. What did you call me? If you'd known all along how formidable this opponent is, you should have given Hitomi over to police custody right away. It's only a matter of dumb luck that either of you are still alive right now. Actually, it's a matter of Teteno wrecking things up.
Yep.
Look, luck or not, me and Hitomi have managed to get...
It's a mix between Maria going in Hitomi's place and Titano. It's
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah. Look, luck or not, me and Hitomi have managed to get by safely. That's all that matters. I love that. So I'm trying to do, like, basically my Achi voice is just me trying to do the same impression that Rolf did when he voiced Achi at the very start of the series. But every once in a while, he starts sounding like the Burger King foot lettuce guy.
You do. Burger King foot lettuce.
The last thing that you want on your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus. But that may be exactly what you get. What exactly is the relationship between you two anyway? Are you guys Stanley, you don't ask this! Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances. When Hitomi hesitated uneasily, Achi decided he'd better speak up. No, it's not like that. We just happened to run into each other earlier today. Guess I'm not the kind of guy who can abandon someone in trouble. Can't abandon someone in trouble, huh? You sure you're not just trying to make yourself feel self-important? There are plenty of people out there that you can't see who are also in trouble, who are also suffering. If you only help the ones really close at hand, then what's the point, really? The world's a lot bigger than you can imagine, and there's a lot you're blind to. So what? If I see someone who's in trouble, I'm supposed to just ignore them? Honestly, Achi is so right. Achi is so right. It's like, yeah, there's all this other stuff going on, but that doesn't mean you, like, that doesn't make the little things you do pointless. Nah, I can't do that. If I see someone who's collapsed from hunger, I'm not just gonna walk on by because there are people starving somewhere else in the world. I'd be all, hey, let me treat you to a beef bowl or whatever. Hi, Owen. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I love ya. You couldn't have come up with a smarter example, Stanley replied with a tiny laugh. Okay, so I'm an idiot. My bad. Stanley laughed again. Today has been an interesting day. Stanley's just meeting.
Sure has.
Stanley's just meeting all the himbos, and we love to see it.
Yep.
The anime pro tags.
Yep.
And yeah, see, he's even. I was with another fellow earlier who was just like you. Meaning what? Was he an idiot too? Yeah, he was an idiot. Do all you Japanese have the problem? You can't say this, Stanley! Stanley! Hardly. My little sister's so smart she'd make your eyes pop out. Well, I'm sure relieved to hear that. If everyone in this country were as dumb as you guys, I might actually start to like this place. Huh? What does that mean? Talk so I can understand, man. But Stanley didn't respond. Instead, he stuck his head out the car window, peering at the road ahead like a dog. They were close to Shibuya Station now, and the traffic had ground to a halt. Gridlock again. It's probably better to walk the rest of the way to Endo Electronics. He pulled over on the side of the road, specifically the shoulder that runs along either side of the traveled portion of the roadway. Oh wait, sorry.
Specifically the shoulder that runs along either side of the traveled portion of the roadway, a place where trash tossed out the windows and moving cars tend to accumulate. Tossing cigarette butts and empty cans out into the streets can potentially hurt people, and it definitely makes a mess. Please, don't litter. PSA.
Heck yeah. Achi got out of the car, feeling his guts knot up with worry. Pretty soon he was going to have to confront his father. Stanley gave Achi a look. Are you scared about meeting with your father? I'm not scared. First things first, I'm gonna punch him right in the face. Then we can have ourselves a chat. Don't let your emotions get out of control. Your father might be one of the key players in this case. I don't give a damn about that! Achi took Hitomi by the hand and started walking. Ooh, they holding hands!
Yeah.
They'd gone up and down Dogensaka so many times today already, but this was probably the last time he and Hitomi would make their way up the hill together. What would Achi do? What would Achi do? So, WWAD.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No. Probably selected the wrong answer now.
What?
But yeah, his anger rising, Achi picked up speed as he marched onward, wanting to confront his father as soon as possible. He would throw people into a TV.
True, he's a Yakuza protagonist.
Heck yeah. His father was wrong. Even if he was acting to save Suzune, he was absolutely wrong. A crime was a crime, regardless of the motive. This was a crime his father needed to atone for. And if he resisted, Achi would take him down, even if he had to use his fists. Even if I have to use my fists. A memory from long ago rose in Achi's mind. A pure white karate gi. Thrusting out with his left fist. Daisuke collapsing to the floor. One of many memories of his father that Achi could not forget. Kneeling before the memorial altar of his mother, Kotone, Achi wept uncontrollably. He clutched his ohajiki tightly in his hands.
A toy made of small coin-shaped glass beads, somewhat similar to marbles. The typical game involves flicking one's pieces into the opponent's with a fingertip. Specific rules vary greatly by region. It's Pogs, basically.
I see. Achi had always been rather clingy with his mother. When she was alive, she had often joined him for oyajiki, origami, and the like. On this particular day, Achi had come home miserable after getting bullied by the neighborhood kids for acting like a wimp. Achi. He turned to see his father holding 2 cups of shaved ice. Come here for a bit. They sat on the stairs together, eating their sweet frozen confections. You want to get tougher? Daisuke's words were soft and simple. How about you and me get tougher together? Achi looked up at his father, frowning in confusion. How are we gonna do that? Well, for starters, how about we learn some karate? Karate? Achi's face twisted up unhappily at the idea. He couldn't even imagine himself punching or kicking anyone. You'll be alright. I'll go with you, don't you worry. Daisuke flexed one of his scrawny arms. His biceps bulged up the tiniest bit. Achi was well aware that his father wasn't much of an athlete. There had been an athletics meet at his grade school. Even now, the memory of Daisuke tripping clumsily during the parent participation relay was burned into Achi's mind.
Children's event where the parents who have come to watch their children compete were asked to join in with them. Daisuke took part in the tug of war, only to get tangled up in the rope and dragged over the line. Archie was understandably disheartened by his father's embarrassing display. After eating the lunch his father made for him, his spirits quickly returned. Daisuke had made rice balls that were clumsily over-salted, but Archie could tell how hard he'd worked to prepare them.
Aww. Azure said, I'll punch and kick someone. Heck yeah. I guess. I mean, if you're gonna be there. So the two began training together at a local karate dojo. Archie put on his white gi and fastened his obi tightly. As he did so...
Wait,
What? How is it pronounced?
No, it's just that you said it twice. Totally. I stuck that shit.
As he did so, he felt as if his feelings were being anchored in place as well. Ich-ni-san! Archie's gi sleeves made a whooshing sound as he thrust out his fists in time with the sensei's chant. Even simple kata practice made him feel like he was getting stronger somehow. His dad, having left Suzune in the care of their neighbors, was working up a sweat alongside him. But he was out of shape, and his technique was shaky. He was soon exhausted and went to lean up against the dojo wall. Archie stepped out of the training circle and called out to his father. Dad, are you okay? Yeah, I just gotta take a little break. Daisuke sounded like he was on the edge of hyperventilating. Thanks, Dad. Huh, what for? For asking me to come take karate lessons with you. Archie was sure he'd never have dared to go to the dojo alone. Hey, just so long as you're liking it. Now go on, get back to training. With a deep bow, Archie resumed his kata practice.
It would have been a lot funnier if you had Archie keep his current voice but as a child.
I should have done that. As they were walking home from the dojo, Archie turned to his father. How come you want to get stronger, Dad? I mean, you're not getting bullied by your friends. Daisuke was quiet for a few moments before answering. His words came out awkward and embarrassed. I was picked on a lot when I was your age too, Archie. I had a friend who would always come and bail me out. A friend?
I too had a very deep voice at the age of 7.
Yep. Yeah, friend. A distant look came to his father's eyes. He was a real fighter. I always looked up to him. I want to be strong like him. His expression turned lonely. I don't get to see him anymore, though. What? Wait, not. Did he die? No, nothing like that. Then did you guys have a fight? Something like that. He stared out into the sky for a while before speaking up again. His name's Sateno. My friend, that's his name. Archie's father increased his pace. Come on, we have to go and pick up Suzune. After that, despite Archie's questions, Daisuke would say no more about his old friend. Wild. By the time he was almost done with grade school, Archie had grown up fit and strong, almost unrecognizable from his younger self. Perhaps he'd had the physical knack in him all along. He was chosen as the representative for the boys' karate team, even managing to take second place in a national tournament. Nobody bullied Archie anymore. One time, Daisuke suggested that the two of them do some sparring. Archie may have been a national competitor, sure, but he was still a grade schooler squaring off against an adult. He killed Tateno on a secluded island, yeah. The guy we've been seeing is Tateno's ghost.
Oh, shit.
His father had been training for close to 2 years now as well, and his confidence had grown accordingly. Archie was excited to be able to face off against his old man. Early on in their karate training, Achi's Kumite had seemed rather hopeless. He had been shocked that his out-of-shape father was able to overpower him, but also pleased to get a sense of how strong the man was. This time, Achi thought he might well lose again, but he was going to go all out. As they adopted their fighting stances, Daisuke's face was full of confidence. The instructor gave the signal to begin, and Achi opened with a sharp, low kick. Daisuke didn't guard against it. The blow caught him in the thigh. It looked to Achi like he had allowed himself to take a hit, not fearing the effect of a child's kick. Achi proceeded to unleash several more low kicks to the same spot. Bit by bit, Daisuke's face revealed his discomfort. Finally, he yanked his leg away. That was when Achi realized his father wasn't letting himself get hit on purpose. He was just unable to keep up with the speed of his son's footwork. If that was the case, Achi felt bad about exploiting his dad's weakness. He decided to leave his leg alone. Instead, he aimed a punch at his father's midsection. He was shocked by the impact as the blow struck home. He hadn't attacked with a great deal of force. He'd just thrown a light midsection punch as a check. But as Achi...
My dad's kidney exploded that day.
Amazing. But as Achi pulled back his fist, Daisuke crumbled to the floor, writhing in pain as he clenched his gut.
Writhing.
Yeah. Aichi stared in disbelief at his own hand. That was the last day that Daisuke went to the dojo. Your dad's pathetic.
Yeah, he's such a loser.
Achi was on his way home from practice, and some older students from the dojo had started ribbing on him. What did you just say? These kids were middle schoolers, but Achi wasn't about to back down. He thrust out with a quick punch, stopping it just short of one boy's nose. Go on, say that again. I'll kick your ass. The older boys went pale and took off and ran, but the small victory did nothing to bolster Achi's spirits. His father had looked so small and lonely heading away after quitting karate, but Achi didn't think there was anything pathetic about that. Sure, maybe by now he was better at karate than his father, but really, what difference did that make? In growing stronger, he'd learned something. Using force to win out over someone else didn't mean anything. Strength alone didn't determine a person's worth. Achi loved and respected his father for going to the dojo with him. Being him in karate match didn't change the way he felt. Achi resurfaced from his memories to hear Stanley talking on his phone. I see, so that's what's going on. Once we're finished with things in Dogenzaga, I'll bring Hitomi right back to the precinct. Curious, Achi turned to face the American. Going to the dojo. Oh wait, going to the dojo. What, did I really say that?
That's what I heard.
Going to the dojo. We're gonna have our own stands now.
We're gonna have a bizarre adventure, Anya.
Yeah, exactly. What was that about just now? Stanley's reply was clipped. I know what they're after now. With that, Stanley proceeded to wrap up his phone call. Guess I'm not gonna get much out of this guy. By now they could see Endo Electronics up ahead. Achi was about to hurry inside when Stanley stopped him. I'll go in first. You two wait out here. No way. This is my dad we're talking about. And you don't think it's dangerous to bring Hitomi right to him? Well, alright. We'll wait here for a bit, and once we know it's safe, we'll head on in. You cool with that? I'm cool with that. Welcome to Jojo Mart, home of the Jojo Burger.
Can I take your order?
Achi fussed about impatiently, staring at the entryway. The palm of his clenched fist was sweating. Never before in his life had he wanted to just deck his old man. Hitomi watched him uneasily. Hitomi.
Yes?
I'm sorry. I really don't want you to have to see this, but I think you're about to witness the crowning shame in Endo family history.
Archie, don't say that.
She squeezed his hand. He found his other fist unclenching.
Please, you have to try to talk to your father.
Yeah, I know. Suddenly, there was a loud crash from inside the building. The time for waiting had passed. Let's go! Yippee! Achi and Hitomi raced inside. Barging into the living quarters without bothering to shed his shoes, he heard his father's voice coming from the workroom. Dad! Oto-san! Achi hurried through the workroom door and saw Stanley holding his father pinned across a desk. I'm sorry, Hitomi, but I don't want you to see me destroy this Jojo burger. It's going to be disgusting. Juices will be everywhere. Meat will be flying.
Ew. Me next.
True fear. Let me go! Please, let me go! Daisuke thrashed both of his legs. Stanley, please let my father go! I want to talk to him! Stanley snorted dismissively, but did as he was asked. Daisuke stood up, rubbing at a sore wrist. Dad, please, you have to tell me! Where is Maria? Maria? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me! You know who this is, don't you? Hitomi Osawa, the girl you've been after. Maria is her sister. But Daisuke remained silent. You're gonna pretend you didn't call the hospital? Nothing about maybe being able to get your hands on a heart? I mean, seriously? It's all so simple. Even I can tell what's going on. You've been watching me and Hitomi through the surveillance cameras, and you were telling that guy with the cane where we were. The blood began to drain from his father's face. Don't you go quiet on me. If I'm wrong, then go ahead. Tell me the truth. Daisuke's arms shot out suddenly, knocking an external hard drive from his desk onto the floor. It was over and done before Stanley could stop him. Stanley hunched down and picked up the shattered drive. I'm guessing there was important data on here. Footage from the cameras, maybe? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, it's not like that can be recovered or anything.
Yeah. You can't do this to an innocent person, Dad! Grabbing his father by the collar. There was a sound of footsteps from out in the shop. Someone was quickly getting closer. Stanley grabbed Hitomi by the hand and pulled her back against the wall. Achi stiffened as he turned his gaze to the door. Oh, this is different, actually. This is different than what we saw during the scene earlier. I guess I made better choices. He told me no longer on the ground. I mean... I'm debating on whether I should just use Kano to continue the scene. Or if we should play the other characters first.
Up to you.
I guess let's play the other characters first. Let's do Ozawa.
The rain won't let up. The sound is growing louder and louder inside my head. It is the sound of regret spattering against my heart. My emotions surge like a terrible storm within me. I never wished for this. Never expected my heart to be dragged so far beyond my control. We can't save Maria! We can't save Maria! We can't save Maria! We can't save Maria!
Oh my God.
The word stormed through Sarah's mind in a relentless cacophony. He pulled up images of the bodies from the human testing trials on his computer monitor. Couldn't help but imagine his daughter in the same gruesome state. In just a few more hours, Mia would begin hemorrhaging blood and die just like the people in these pictures had. We can't save Maria! We can't save Maria!
This is like weirdly funny.
We can't save Maria! He couldn't shake the words or the reality from his mind. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Sarah began pounding his fist on the desktop.
That... Sir, what are you doing?
Hajiwara tried to intervene, but he kept on pounding away. When he finally ceased, the pain of the repeated impacts lingered in his hands. My research was never about any sincere desire to help people, and now I'm paying the price for that. The one time it finally matters, I can't even save my own daughter.
Mr. Osawa. You can always
Hajiwara set a hand on his shoulder.
You can always blame yourself later, but for now, think again, good and hard. Is there really no other way to save Maria? Nothing else we could try?
Osawa shook his head. The only means we had left was using Tanaka's password to unlock the doors. And now Tanaka is dead. I'm not sure who says this.
Is there a possibility that Mr. Tanaka told someone else his password?
There's no other way. There was something Osawa hadn't considered. Was there anyone Tanaka might have shared his password with? Ooh, I wonder who!
Yeah.
Only one person came to mind. Well, yes, there may be someone. And she's a bitch.
Yep. You're referring to I, sir? Kajiwara cast.
Kajiwara kissed his eyes down. Ooh, figured that out then.
Yes, back during the commotion over that listening device, a necktie clip isn't typically the sort of present one gives to one's husband's co-worker. And yet, although some might consider it somewhat, inappropriate, Mr. Tanaka was wearing it as if it were a matter of course, which, implies something about their relationship.
Kajiwara's voice trailed off. He coughed apologetically and tried again.
I realize it's an awkward situation, sir, but please check with your wife.
Even if I just happened to know the password, what good? What does it? That does us no good if Maria gets quarantined someplace we can't reach her.
I understand, Mr. Osawa. I'll bring Maria to you then. I'll do everything in my power to make that happen.
The detective then produced a bunch of bananas from his pocket. Magic ass pockets.
Yep. These are all leftover. You're more than welcome to them, sir.
Despite his gentle smile, the rest of his face was filled with resolve.
You said you didn't care whether other people understood you, didn't you, Mr. Osawa?
Osawa nodded guardedly.
At the risk of being presumptuous, sir, I understand you. I used to be quite the workaholic myself. You're just like me, innocent and awkward.
This would be
wait, yeah. On another occasion, Kajiwara was shocked to run into a man who looked just like him. The fellow was a stylist at a hair salon Kajiwara visits on occasion. He let out a gasp of surprise of his own upon seeing the detective. Kajiwara felt a peculiar connection and was expecting to go to the salon regularly, but when the stylist asked what he did for a living and Kajiwara answered honestly that he was a detective, the other man's face went pale and he bolted out of the building. Kajiwara never saw the man again after that.
Wonder if he had a criminal record.
Yeah.
Calling yourself innocent, huh? How modest of you. So, Osawa let out a sardonic chuckle, and after a moment Kajiwara joined in.
The next time I see you, Mr. Osawa, I'll have Maria with me.
Detective gave a slight bow, then left the study, look of determination on his face. Osawa watched him go with admiration. No matter what trouble arose, the man always looked for something he'd do, and always came back with more bananas.
Yep.
He really was a fellow who knew how to hang tough with bananas.
Yep.
Compared to that, I'm just full of bananas, so I couldn't even articulate his own self-disgust. And asking Aya about the password also mean inquiring into a relationship with Tanaka. The prospect was daunting. Venturing into the emotional territory of no person was his weakest suit. Just go over to her with a bunch of bananas.
Heck yeah, that's
He
the
left
answer.
his study. Yeah, but somehow found himself making his way to Maria's room, not Aya's. He realised that he hadn't been to his daughter's room since a certain rainy day years before. Now he stepped quietly inside and saw Maria's world laid out before him. A small photo was set atop a neat and tidy desk. As close-up as someone's hands doing a cat's cradle. Whose hands were they? From the skin tone, they didn't appear to be Maria's.
It's her soulmate.
Yeah, several more photographs were pinned to a corkboard that hung on the wall. They were snapshots of people and townscapes from the Middle East. One glance at them and Osawa felt like he was back there for a moment. The images weren't necessarily aesthetically pleasing, but they all looked like they'd been taken by a professional. When he spotted the last photo on the corkboard, however, he was certain that Maria had taken them all. The last picture was of Osawa himself. He was facing the camera, holding some luggage and flashing an awkward smile. Autism. It was a comical, affectionate image. He'd never known that his photography was one of his daughter's hobbies. No, this went beyond a mere hobby. She perhaps aspired to be a professional photographer one day. She certainly had the aptitude for it from the look of things. Maria, a photographer. As he mulled the idea over, Osawa felt his chest tighten. Right now, it looked like Maria's hopes and dreams were about to be snuffed out. His future consisted of bleeding to death a few short hours from now. Osawa stared vacantly out the window. The view from Maria's room remained unchanged from so long ago. Again, that rainy day crept back into his mind as vivid as the present.
What if we just eat Maria? I don't know if that will solve the problem, but it certainly is
That
an
would
option.
infect a lot of people.
Unhinge our jaw and munch.
we need to eat. We need to eat Hitomi before we eat Maria. Then we'll be fine.
Yeah, then that'll work
On that
out.
day, Osawa was dealing with some pressing business from work, or Hitomi could do a Fatal Frame 2 to 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 Maria, and
Yeah, that'll
he'd
work.
ensconced himself in his study, wrestling with some paperwork when Hitomi barged in looking distraught. Or a siren, forbidden siren. Maria's gone. Sensing that Hitomi was legitimately alarmed, Osawa hurried to Maria's room. He found the letter she'd left atop her writing desk. Dad, you only cared about Hitomi. You're always working and never do anything with me, so I'm running away. Hours earlier, he cancelled their weekend trip to the amusement park. He just wasn't going to be able to get his work done in time. Hitomi had resigned herself readily enough, but Maria just couldn't accept it. She'd been looking forward to it for so long. She railed at him. How many times now had he broken one of his promises to her? Hitomi understands why we can't go. So why can't you do the same? Now, this... Hitomi understands why we can't go, so why can't you do the same? The cold rebuke had ended her complaining. She still didn't accept the situation. Now Hitomi helped him look around, but they found nothing missing from Maria's room. Despite her assertion that she was running away, then it seemed like there was no point in being overly concerned. Maybe she's at the park she always goes to? Hitomi looked worried. The park was roughly a 25-minute walk from the house. It will only take about an hour for Osawa to go get her and bring her home. But hours more than he could afford to spare right now. Dad, I think she's waiting for you to go after her. Osawa didn't need Hitomi to tell him that. He knew it well enough. That was what galled him so much about the situation. Why did she have to pull something like this precisely when his work was at its busiest? He'd done everything he could as a father since his wife had passed away. Why couldn't his daughter see that? It's alright, your sister will come back. The rain was coming down pretty hard outside the window. Do you think she brought an umbrella? He turned me anxiously. I don't know, but with the rain like this, she'll come back soon enough. He spoke the words for himself as much as for Hitomi. Then he headed back to his study and got back to work. But several hours went by and still Maria did not return. The rain had gotten even more intense, to the point where Osawa could hear it in his study. He was so concerned about his missing girl that he couldn't focus on his work, but he stubbornly refused to give in and go search for her. Several more hours passed. Dude!
Yeah.
At last, Maria appeared at the front door, soaking wet. Osawa met her silently in the entryway. Wet strands of hair clung to the girl's forehead. He looked up at her father with a bitter glare. You don't care what happens to me, do you? Immediately Osawa smacked her across the cheek with the flat of his hand. It was the first time in his life he'd ever struck anyone. He hadn't known such violent impulse could exist inside him. Maria stood there, her hand pressed to her cheek. Tears welled up in her eyes. She began to tremble. On her lip was a small bead of blood. A flood of guilt and regret rose up inside Osawa, as if he'd just shattered some intricate piece of glasswork. How could I do such a thing? He clenched his shameful hand into a fist, and in that moment he was afraid of Maria, afraid that his daughter could bring such raw emotion out of him and make him do something so thoughtless. But even more, he was afraid of how stunted he was as a human being. Was someone like him really fit to be a parent? What kind of future could Maria and Hitomi hope with a father like him? A terrible father wouldn't even think that way.
Yeah.
They think everything they're doing is just the right way to do it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're already halfway.
Yep.
That was why he'd married Ai, as Makano had supposed. Having a mother he decided would help keep the family together, despite the sad excuse from father.
How could
Yes,
I?
let's have a neglectful stepmother.
Yep.
That's gonna help.
How could I do such a thing? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run.
But in doing so, Osawa had dug a psychological ditch between himself and his daughters. A deep ditch, so that he could keep his daughters from being hurt. So that he wouldn't hurt himself. You just further detached yourself, dude.
Yep.
Now Osawa was staring across that ditch, wondering if it was too late to leap. He thought back to his early exchange with Kajiwara.
If you get angry, you show it. If you get sad, you show it. It's human nature to let other people know how we're feeling after all.
What if doing that hurts the other person?
That's when you apologize, sir.
Yes, that was right. Need to apologize to Maria for what he'd done that day. It still wasn't too late. It's never too late. When it comes to family, there's no such thing as game over. I don't know about that. He recalled Pretty Honey's words. He needs to apologize to Maria, and so he needs to ask Ai for that password. Osawa's gonna have to face his wife.
Oh, another keep out. So many keep outs. Now we only have one more person left. Minorikawa. The TV news continues to report on how oh yeah, I am doing it. On how Mamoru
Yeah,
Tanaka,
because Nokaro hurts me.
yeah, had been killed in the minivan explosion.
What? Oh,
What?
it's
What
you.
does this mean? I mean, Hana told us. Hana told us
Yeah,
herself that the van explosion was her father committing suicide, didn't she?
It's the only explanation I can think of. Is that Hannah was lying.
Asher's like, oh yeah, I forgot about the explosion. He scratched his head as he considered the situation. But why? Well, it would seem Mr. Toyama had her lie in order to deceive us. What an upstanding individual, using his own daughter to buy himself some time. Minorikawa wanted to yell at the guy, but he managed to hold his tongue. The important thing was that Toyama was still alive, and if he was still alive, then there was still a way to save Heaven Publishing. They get the current issue out on time, with a big scoop waiting in the wings for the issue after that. From there on out, it should be smooth sailing. Well, no matter, seeing as Mr. Toyama isn't dead after all, we'll just have to wait here for him. He sat back down on the sofa. But Segawa leaned threateningly towards Chiaki. Hey, you sure you don't know where the guy's hiding out? I don't! And even if I did, I'd never tell you! Say what now? Leaned in even closer just as she stood on her tiptoes in defiance, and their foreheads collided with a dull thud. Both reeled back, clutching their heads in their hands.
Just calm down, Chiaki.
Minorikawa said as he began rooting through Toyama's desk.
For now, I'm gonna have to look for clues where Toyama might have gone. You just focus on working on your article.
Oh? Getting all cooperative all of a sudden, I see.
I want to change up the plan for next month's issue, and I can't do that without the editor-in-chief's approval.
What Minorikawa was actually looking for, however, was a back issue of 4-Star General Gossip. He was pretty sure the article on Osawa had been printed in the magazine's inaugural issue. If he could find that scandalous piece that the scientist had asked for, he'd also be able to get his big lead about the power imbalance of the world being at stake. And if he could get that, not only would next month's issue be a sure thing, it was a good bet that sales figures would go through the roof. He found a file folder full of early material and quickly flipped through it. It didn't take him long to find the article.
Founder of Koshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage with political convenience.
The large headline practically jumped off the page. Minorikawa quickly read over the story. The basic gist of it was this. The corporate director of Akoshi Pharmaceutical had sacrificed his daughter in order to keep a researcher named Kenji Osawa on board. The daughter, however, had previously been dating another man. That must be what Osawa wanted him to look into, the guy his wife had been dating before they were married. It should be easy enough to just ask whoever had written the article. Minorikawa's gaze jumped to the end of the piece, looking for the writing credit. The piece had been written by Toyama himself. Hey, is you done yet? Tell us where Toyama is already.
Yeah, we're gonna need to do something about these guys.
I'm still looking into it. Just hold your horses.
He made a show of opening and closing various desk drawers. The drawers themselves were packed with a jumbled mess of electrical and gas bills, noodle house delivery menus, and the like. Look faster! Well, this is, I guess, more tied to what we were just talking about and is more detailed. I guess I'll go with that. Maybe you could mollify this guy by having some noodles delivered for dinner.
Hey, you guys hungry? I was thinking of ordering some soba.
Hey, nom 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 nom. Man, this ain't no time for that. Besides, we just had some soba anyhow, and ugh, it was awful. Don't talk to me about noodles. Tagawa launched into a shadow boxing session, as if trying to punch out the provider of his disappointing soba. The guy clearly had zero capacity for sitting still. Minorikawa had found the back issue of the gossip he was looking for. He still needed Chiaki's article though, and she wasn't quite finished yet. He had to buy some more time. By the way, are you familiar with... Oh wait, that was you, sorry.
By the way, are you familiar with SOS?
SOS? The thug paused mid-jab.
Yeah, SOS. I was planning on interviewing them later today. Here there's some pretty tough guys.
Only one of them who'd be able to give me a fight would probably be that Achiendo. Except as I hear it, he's left the gang.
Uh-huh. Well now, heard anything else interesting?
Sounds like nowadays they're being run by some guy named Suzumu. The name Suzumu rung a bell. Those two young punks who'd been arguing after the van explosion had mentioned him. Seems like SOS is in a pretty rough state since Anya left though. Minorikawa didn't miss a beat. Save our soup, SOS. Heck yeah. What store
What
are
you mean, rough state?
What store are you in? I'm at the soup store. Where you make loads in the soup store. Back in the day, they were all good associated. Everything fucked down or steal already if that's still good. Their founder actually and that sort of thing. But now that he's had a lot of rough and tumble, hot-blooded sites have been signing up with them. Smart move is not to get involved with SOS nowadays, really. Hard to find a scared bunch around here when there's a lot of them together.
And their main hangout, that's at Inferno, yeah?
Yeah, over in Harajuku. Man, you've been listening out on the streets for years.
Known as Urahara for short. The area east of the Japan Rail Harajuku Station, around where Takeshita-dori meets Meiji-dori. There are small clothing and accessory stores here, set up in renovated houses. Most of these shops are on the cutting edge of youth fashion, offering quirky and unique means of personal expression.
Yeah. Yep, the sun disappeared pretty fast.
You're Harajuku, huh?
Minorikawa smiled to himself. Inferno's location had practically fallen into his lap. Suddenly, Sagawa's eyes went wide.
Aha! So that's where Toyama is. Wait, nah, no way a cat like him would go to a place like that.
Munch. Chiaki looked up from her keyboard. Look, can you please shut up?
No, you shut up.
No, you shut up. That's my phone.
It was Toyama's name on the incoming call screen. Minorikawa's heart skipped a beat.
Toyama, where are you?
He blurted out as he picked up. Chiaki, Ozu, and Sagawa turned to look at him as one. I forgot. Am I the one voicing him?
I don't remember. I always forget. Well, you think you're dead like that?
Even if we could fill those pages and postpone repayment, all of it would do is to delay the inevitable. I'd still be up to my ears in debt, so I thought if I made it look like I was dead...
Minorikawa let out an exasperated sigh.
Well, everyone already knows you're still alive. Your little attempted subterfuge didn't even wind up buying you time, dumb shit.
What? Toyama's hysterical squeak was painful to hear. What?
Alright, listen up. If it's the debt you're worried about, you'll be able to pay back that real soon.
What do you mean?
I've learned a huge scoop. You can do a print run of 1 million copies and still sell out if we can run it as an article.
Toyama perked right up.
Wait, you really mean it?
I'll give you all the details. Just get your butt back here.
But aren't those loan sharks there at the office right now?
Alright, then I'll come to you. Tell me where you are.
The two thugs crowded nearer, a predatory gleam in their eyes, and Minorikawa had a flash of inspiration.
Got it. My Shibuya Park. I'm on my way now. Don't go anywhere.
Ozu and Sagawa grinned at one another, then bolted out the door.
Morons.
Yep, idiots.
I was gonna get the bait. I sent them to me Shibuya Park.
He allowed himself a cocksure grin, and then he's gonna be like, I'm at Shibuya Park, you idiot!
Right then. So where are you really, Toyama?
You imbecile! I am at Shibuya Park, I knew it! I called it!
Naughty!
What?
Minorikawa fought the urge to pull his hair out.
What the hell are you doing someplace like that?
Why the hell did you tell them be at Shibuya Park?
I thought it would be a clever ruse because nobody would hide there.
Well, it wasn't.
This is no time to be fighting!
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, Toyama, those guys are heading your way. We need you to get out of there and go someplace we can talk. I can meet you there.
Right, okay.
They needed someplace safe and public where they could speak freely. Someplace where the staff wouldn't be overly nosy, but where?
Nosy.
Let's do the cafe. The familiar cafe by the station was a natural choice. He quickly described the location.
Okay, Cafe Lautrec, got it. I'll see you there.
He hung up and Minorikawa quickly gathered his belongings.
Jackie, how's that copy coming along?
Well, almost done? Just a little more, I think.
Alright, bring your computer and call me. I'll read what you got so far.
Minorikawa waited as Chiaki got ready to head to the cafe. As the two were heading out of the office, however, someone else opened the door. What? Who's talking? What? You've got 14 minutes and 57 seconds left to send to press.
The writer submits to the editor. The editor submits to the designer. This is the next step in that whole handoff process. Naturally, being late for this causes quite a lot of trouble.
56, 55. A slender man with a gaudy necktie entered the room and sat down on the nearest desk, staring fixedly at his pocket watch. Slender Man and the 8 pages? Minorikawa narrowed his eyes dubiously.
Who the hell are you?
Always make sure to show up 15 minutes ahead of the appointed time. That's just common decency. The man gave no indication he'd even heard Minorikawa's question. I suppose I can wait here, just for another 14 minutes and 20 seconds. Mr. Mino, is this guy talking about our submission? Chiaki stared doubtfully at the newcomer.
Hey, you! Are you from the printer?
But the man did not reply.
Don't ignore me! Are you from the printer?
Still the man remained silent.
Look, cut the crap!
In response, the man quickly reached into his suit pocket and pulled out his business card. My name is not Hey You. He handed the card to Minorikawa. It read, Sho Nippon Printing Co., Ltd., Sales Department, Division Number 1, Koichiro Katayama. I'm Koichiro Katayama, newly assigned to Heaven Publishing. A pleasure to meet you. My predecessor is in the hospital due to a car accident. What?
Bachio Yusu, 39 years old, single. A long-time veteran at Show Nippon Printing, rather timid by nature, the strain of dealing with publishers makes him sick to his stomach. At around 1:10 p.m. early today, while driving to meet one of his clients, he had to swerve to avoid a young man and woman who darted into the streets. He crashed into the car next to him and ended up at the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, remember when that happened?
Yep, I do.
Yep, there we go.
You should make a complete recovery in about 2 months.
Well, what are you doing here, Katayama? I thought we had until 8 o'clock to complete proofreading.
8 o'clock? Surely you must be joking. Our company's proofing deadline is 5:30. Katayama stared fixedly back at Minorikawa.
Now that had to be a joke. I heard from the editor-in-chief that it was 8 o'clock.
I take that to mean, then, that you don't have any copy for us.
Not that we don't have it. It's just not finished yet. Just hold on until 8.
Katayama raised an eyebrow. No. Publisher and printer need to work in concert. Perhaps my predecessor was the sort to delay the proofing deadline owing to your circumstances here, but now I'm in charge and I do not make exceptions. The proofing deadline is 5:30 sharp, and I intend to keep it that way. And while we've been having this discussion, you're down to 12 minutes and 32 seconds. Katayama held out his pocket watch as if to emphasize his point.
That's ridiculous. Just who the hell do you think you are? You guys are gonna be printing the paper that I wrote. Do you even know how lucky that makes you? So just wait, okay? Just give us...
What? We could say 3 more days? Wow. That's insane. Well, obviously we're not going to say 3 more days. We're just aiming for 8 o'clock.
Just give us until 8 o'clock.
That was the original understanding. The bit. It was unfair to change it now. "8 o'clock, And where's your guarantee that you'll finish by then?"
Be real, just trust me.
I'm supposed to heedlessly trust the word of a man I've just met. We're down to 10 minutes and 46 seconds, by the way.
You son of a bitch! Don't get all high and mighty just because you work for the printer.
High and mighty? I'd say it's the people on the publishing side of things that act high and mighty. Whatever high-minded claims you might make, without us you'd have nothing to put on the store's shelves. Forgetting that and blithely ignoring your proofing deadline makes for more work on our end. Just what are you getting at, I wonder? Now it's 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Minorikawa ground his teeth so hard he could hear it. His usual tactics were useless here. Katayama was simply too unflappable to be browbeaten. If he backed down now, though, it was game over. 10 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. I realize there's little point, but I'll wait until the designated time. That's just common decency.
Katayama's pet phrase. Thus far, he has said that's just common decency 3 times in the story. Always make sure to show up 15 minutes ahead of the appointed time. I realize there's little point, but I'll wait until the designated time. There was one more. Do you know when and where it was?
Katayama's eyes were once again locked on the pocket watch. It was no use. Minorikawa couldn't find a way to talk this guy around. May I say something? Isn't it also common decency not to break a promise once it's been made? If you're referring to the 8 o'clock deadline, I was not the one who promised that. Maybe not, but I believe your predecessor's responsibilities become your responsibilities. Katayama crossed his arms and gave her a bemused look. What's your name, miss? Chiaki! Chiaki Iso. The printer's expression brightened visibly. Good. That timid hesitation of yours is just splendid. You have none of the arrogance so typical among publishers. Huh? Chiaki was rather taken aback. In deference to your polite demeanor, I shall wait until 7 o'clock. That is the latest I can possibly allow.
All right.
Minorikawa shouted practically in Katayama's face.
Agree those terms.
No, I wasn't talking to you.
But we've got terms of our own.
Katayama reeled ever so slightly. I'm not certain you're in any position to set terms here.
Just shut up and listen. From here on out, you'll come with us.
What? Why?
We're gonna finish up our coffee on site and then bring the data on CD and hand it over to you there. That's why.
This actor for this guy looks like the guy who plays Q in the latest James Bond films. Hatayama let out a sigh of resignation. Oh, very well. I suppose I'd simply be waiting here anyway. Minorikawa pumped his fist in victory.
Alright, Chucky, go and copy the DTP data we've got so far into your computer.
Sure thing, Mr. Mino! Chiaki quickly set about copying the data from the editing department's desktop. Okay, done!
And let's go!
With the others in tow, Minorikawa headed for the cafe where Toyama would be waiting. They reached Cafe Lautrec without incident, and Minorikawa promptly spotted the publisher. Over here! Kochi kochi! Eyeing his surroundings with obvious unease, Hana sat by his side, sullenly sipping on some juice. The waitress came over as Minorikawa joined them. I think I was also the waitress, too. May I take your order? Water.
Water!
Just water, sir.
Make it a double!
Exasperated, the waitress headed back to the kitchen.
I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, poor girl, this whole day. Toyama looked over at Katayama.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nope.
Who's this guy? I'm Koichiro Katayama from Cho Nippon Printing. Katayama presented his business card. Toyama turned to Minorikawa with a quizzical look.
What's someone from the printer doing with you?
Explain later. There's no time for that right now. First, I need you to answer some questions. Does the name Kenji Osawa ring any bells?
Osawa. Toyama closed his eyes and thought.
It's a laboratory in Koshi Pharmaceutical. You ran a piece on him in the first ever issue, Fall Star General Gossip.
Toyama's face lit up with recognition.
Ah, yes, that political marriage piece.
Yeah, that one. Do you remember the details from the article?
Of course. Who do you think I am?
Toyama puffed himself up proudly.
I used to be the local news copy editor for the Central Times. I've got the details for all the stuff I've ever covered here in my head.
In that case, do you know who Kenji Urasawa's wife was dating before they got married?
What if I drink the green tea? What if I drink the green drink? Haha, JK, unless. I do want to drink that. It does look good. Toyama blinked his eyes vacantly.
Hey, what's the matter?
This is a pretty tough pop quiz you're giving me.
Surprise, kids! It's time for a science quiz. What colorless, odorless gas, lighter than air, and used for consumer and municipal gas applications, is also known as marsh gas or swamp gas? Helium, ethylene, propane, methane. Tune in next time for the answer.
I don't know the answer, which is why I didn't say any. I don't know the answer. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not, because propane and methane, I think, are both odored. But maybe I'm losing my mind. One of them has to be. I don't think it's helium either. I don't think helium is known as swamp gas. Maybe? Or no, maybe it is methane.
Yeah, it is methane.
Heck yeah.
That's why we have an issue with having so many cows, is that they produce a lot of methane because they fart and shit so much.
Yeah.
Cut the crap, man. You just said all the details inside your head.
Oh, they're in there all right. They're just not coming out.
I feel that.
Minorikawa slumped.
Miss Toyama, please. Whether or not you'll be able to pay off your debts depends on your memory here.
Hearing this, Hana cast a cold glare up at her father.
All right, I can remember, or I can at least try.
Toyama folded his arms and hummed to himself, his gaze turned inward.
So I feel like it was a really common name.
Sato! Yamada! Was it either of those? They're pretty common names. But Toyama shook his head. Norikawa offered a guess of his own. It would be Tanaka, because that's the right answer. Tanaka! Tanaka!
Tanaka.
No, not that. It was something else. No, it was that! It was Tanaka! What are you saying? Sir, I will shave your mustache. Please do. Just then, the television inside the cafe switched over to a news report on the Shibuya explosion.
The remains of the individual discovered within the minivan itself, who has since been identified as pharmaceutical company executive Mamoru Tanaka.
Mamoru Tanaka? Toyama turned around to look at the TV. An image of the victim's face appeared on the screen.
What?
The publisher blurted, nearly falling out of his seat. That's it! It was him right there! And we said Tanaka! That wasn't... Mamoru Tanaka!
That's what I said, Tanaka.
Toyama pointed excitedly at the TV screen.
That's who Ken.
Oh wait, that's who Kenji Osawa's wife was dating before they got married, Mamoru Tanaka. Norikawa felt himself getting goosebumps. The victim of the terrorist bombing in Shibuya was also linked to the researcher who was key to a terrorist viral scare. His reporter hunch was now a certainty. Right now, Shibuya was at the center of some massive conspiracy. This went far beyond even a major scoop.
Miss Toyama, we need to make sure that next month's issue hits shelves.
Norikawa called up Kenji Osawa to let him know the results of his little investigation. So now we can jump. Whee! Sawa's phone rang and Minorikawa's phone number. Oh, wait.
Sawa's phone rang and Minorikawa's phone number popped up on the LCD display. The reporter must have finished looking into the matter Osawa had asked about. Mr. Osawa, sorry to keep you waiting.
How'd it go?
Oh, I did that the wrong way round.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Mr. Osawa, sorry to keep you waiting.
How did it go?
Well, I looked at the background of the story you asked me about. I learned who was your wife was dating.
Who was it? There was a brief pause.
Mamoru Tanaka.
I see. Finally had proof positive of a relationship between I and Tanaka. Now more than ever, there is no time to waver. No matter how painful the reality was, it was also true that if they hadn't been dating, there was probably no way of saving Maria.
So, what was this big, huge thing about disrupting the power balance of the world all about?
There's something I need to take care of on my end first. Once I'm finished, I'll tell you everything.
Yeah, that's fine. Things are pretty hectic on my end right now anyway.
Osawa had expected Minorikawa to put up more of a fight. He'd figured a reporter for the 4-star General Gossip would be a bit more persistent.
Oh, by the way, there's one other thing I wanted to tell you, Mr. Osawa.
Osawa could practically sense the finger pointing his way from the other side of the line.
Don't be too angry with your wife. All too often in this world, people let their anger get in the way of solving their problem.
You may have a point. Osawa let out a wry chuckle. Alright then, I'll call you back later. The thing is that I most likely didn't want to get married to you and was forced into it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Osawa found Ai standing by herself in the yard. She kept her back to him as he approached. May I have a moment?
This is such a good shot. I really love this shot.
Yeah.
What?
Still, she didn't bother to turn around. There's something important I need to talk to you about.
I'm not in the mood right now. Thank you, Azure.
Please, I realize you're upset about Tanaka's death, but... The mention of Tanaka's name, I slowly shook her head.
Don't. Just tell me what you want. Hurry up and get to the point.
Nara tried to be close to her, but she pointedly kept her distance.
I mean, And I think this kind of goes into what Minorikawa was saying earlier, where don't let your emotions get in the way of solving the problem. So I think that's like a way of the game saying we should probably just ask the thing instead of having him dwell on it.
There's no time to mince words. Did Tanaka give you his password?
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Makes sense.
This explains a lot because Judgment and Lost Judgment are great detective games.
Heck yeah. His password?
For the electronic lock on the lab, I needed to know to get the antiviral out. I turned to face him at last.
To get it out? What are you thinking? That belongs to the company.
I just need one dose to save Maria. Please, if you know, please tell me.
I don't know it.
Ai's voice was barely a whisper. Osawa looked his wife right in the eye. You're telling the truth.
I am.
I see. Did you have any idea what number he might have used for the password? Ai shook her head silently, then turned her back to her husband once more.
I did not murder him. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you.
Why not?
Don't you get it? Do you even
Ai's
know?
words came out as a strong rasp.
Do you even know why I'm with you? You really have no idea how much you're worth, do you? The value of one woman's life versus the potential profits your research would bring in. There's no comparing the two. If it meant that Okochi Pharmaceutical could monopolize your talents, then what did it even matter what I wanted for myself?
There was something akin to desperation in Ai's words. You may be insufferable, Ai, but you were just caught up in such bad shit.
Yeah. Well, I bet part of her personality comes from how she was brought up.
Yep.
It probably wasn't a very good environment.
Nope. So you sent me those threatening emails too?
What?
I looked at him in shock. He knew he'd guessed correctly. You would go that far? Just keep me tied to your father's business?
That's right, I would.
I bit down on her lip hard.
What would you even know about how I feel?
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. I'm not the victim here.
You say that. But isn't it because of me that you and Tanaka weren't able to stay together? I began to tremble.
Oh, these shots, like all the photography in this game, especially knowing that it was all live shots, is like amazing.
Yeah.
It's like it's so good, high quality shots. Like it wasn't just like, oh, we're just throwing the images in here. They were all like deliberately chosen and shot. When did you figure it out?
Earlier today. That tie clip.
Heh, right. Not the sort of gift one gives to a husband's coworker, is it?
Ai's smile was bitter with self-deprecation. Osawa couldn't help but pity her. Even Tanaka must have suspected that she placed the company's profit above their else if she goes to such lengths to protect it. It was like she'd given her entire life just for that.
Please, don't mess my life up any more than you already have.
Ai's words were not only a faint murmur, but Usawa felt the rejection they carried with agonizing clarity. Tanaka hadn't given Ai his password. Usawa's last chance had gone up in smoke. He let out a long, shaky breath and shut his eyes tight. Was it true? Was there nothing more he could do? Maybe think of a significant date?
Yeah.
Or two? Like, your wedding, the day that I was lost to Tanaka forever, the day that he and I met or dated, sort of thing, like, anything like that? You're supposed to be smart.
Apparently not. Oh, this is no longer an option. Oh, because we haven't gone there yet.
Yep.
Guess all we can do is continue with Minorikawa. The man didn't seem terribly surprised. Probably he had his suspicions all along. Osawa told him that there was something he needed to do before he was ready to give details on the big scoop, but that he would call back later. In the meantime, Minorikawa knew he'd have his hands full getting the current issue of the gossip wrapped up for the 7 o'clock deadline. He slapped his hands down on the table.
Alright, emergency editing meeting right here. We need to get a lead on the Shibuya terrorist bombing in the next issue. Article about the twins winning the beauty contest can be dropped for that. We'll use info from Keiji Osawa as the basis for a big scoop in the issue after that. Is Toyama any problems with that?
No, that should be fine, but what about the remaining pages for next month's issue?
Norikawa opened the file on his computer. The layout built in the DDP came up on the monitor. The report on the Burning Hammer sales demo, the surveillance camera opinion piece, the interview with Orai. Those 3 were finished, the copy already incorporated into the layout. Once Chiaki's street interview piece was loaded in, that one could be checked off as well.
Chiaki, how's your copy coming along?
I'm sorry, I just need a little bit longer. The writing seemed to still be giving her a fair bit of trouble. The article on SOS was still just a placeholder in the layout, and Minorikawa hadn't even gotten any material for that, putting it even further behind than Chiaki's street interviews. Still, he at least learned where Shibuya's legendary street gang made their hangout. He'd just have to take the risk of dropping in on them unannounced to ambush them with some interview questions. And then there was the lead-in for Shibuya's bombing. That wasn't even in the layout yet. It was a completely blank slate. Against all odds, they were going to need to put that article together from nothing with just an hour and change. It was an impossible amount of work for just him and Chiaki to do. Well, and how are things coming along? Katayama rose and came closer, trying to peer at the monitor. Norikawa hurried to cover the screen.
Look. I've got porn on here.
If the printer rep saw all the blank pages, he might decide to stop waiting. Would you mind telling me roughly what % of the total you have completed thus far?
Percent. Come off it, man. We're at 100%.
If you're 100% done, that implies you're all finished. Could I please have that data then?
No, I'm saying our willpower is at 100%.
I'm not even going to pretend I understand what you mean by that. Shaking his head, Katayama sat back down in his chair. I love that guy. Minorikawa. Toyama asked, his expression uneasy. So I know I asked before, why is someone from the printer here again? Katayama promptly chimed in. Hi Mew, welcome to the stream. How's it going? I love ya.
Hello.
Oh, thanks, Azure. I was just about to do it. Thank you, Azure. You're the best. I would die without you, and that's a fact. The long and short of it is that your proving deadline has been changed to 7 o'clock. Tetris Battle Royale with cheese, heck yeah. What? But that's impossible. Who's doing the lead-in for the Shibuya bombing? Toyama eyed Minorikawa and then Chiaki. Both stared back non-committedly. Then it really is impossible. We'll never meet that deadline. We don't have enough people.
No, we do have enough.
Minorikawa thrust out his finger.
Mr. Toyama, you're gonna write that one and handle the layout.
What?
I'm purchasing your company. Won't you step up in order to protect it?
Toyama hung his head. Even if I headed to the scene right now, I'm sure the other outlets have already gotten their coverage. I wouldn't be able to find anything new to write about.
And so you're just gonna give up?
Literally, Azure, I would die without you and Lulu and Angel and the squad. I would die without everyone.
All the unnamed people.
I'll fight you. A moment later, Toyama was on the floor, Minorikawa glaring down at him.
You've already said you wouldn't tell the world about things the mass media can't or won't write about.
It's so exciting every time we get, like, a live action scene. It's like, yo!
So what the hell difference does it make if they're already got the sound bites they're after?
Norikawa's voice was raw with emotion.
But you dare give up. Not that easily. Get your ass out there. Find something only you can write about.
Norikawa. Toyama began to object, then he glanced over at Hana. There was an imploring look in her eyes as well. Get you what you're saying, but still you're expecting a lot. But then, despite his words, he flashed a broad grin.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's got you all fired up.
Yeah, fired up alright. Toyama's face shone with a resolve Minorikawa hadn't seen in a long time.
There we go, that's the Toyama I know.
You know, I'm really sorry. Now I see the huge burden I put on you, but damn it, it's going to be alright.
Getting to his feet, Toyama took his daughter by the hand and strode boldly out of the cafe, looking like a changed man. Minorikawa watched him go, glad the dithering was over. Even if Toyama were still in his prime, he'd been coming close to do that article in an hour. But he would pull through somehow. When it came to taking care of Hana, the man would rise to the occasion again and again. Father and daughter disappeared into the crowd, hand in hand. Minorikawa shook himself out of his reverie.
Right.
Despite the clear blue sky, an unexpected gust of wind blew across his cheek.
Come on, guys, we gotta get go too.
Things might look grim, but he wasn't going to give up until the bitter end. It was time to head to the SOS Hangout Inferno. The three ran long and hard after leaving the cafe. If the proofing deadline was 7 o'clock, then they needed to finish up with SOS by 6:30 at the latest. The gang's hangout was in Harajuku. Running all the way there on foot was going to eat into too much of their time. But traffic was at a near standstill for some reason, and there wasn't a taxi in sight. How long do you plan on running like this?
Just take a look at the road. With the traffic, there's no point in hailing a cab.
Even Minorikawa was feeling the time pressure now.
You feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Exactly. Look at this shot. This is such a great shot.
We're just gonna have to keep running until the road's clear.
What?
Stop your whining. Just keep quiet and stick with me.
He'd finally gotten Toyama to find his willpower again. Next month's issue would come out on time, and no way was some printer guy going to mess that up now. But the traffic showed no signs of abating. Catching a cab wasn't going to be an option. Fighting an ever-louding echo of despair, Minorikawa kept up his desperate, headlong rush.
To rush into a situation recklessly or heedlessly, not quite the same as being Daredevil.
Still, there were limits of how far the mind could push the body before exhaustion set in. Eek! Oh no! As they were running across a pedestrian overpass, Chiaki slipped and took a nasty fall. She skinned her knee hard enough to draw blood. Oh no, Chiaki! No!
Owie.
Oof. Oofsie daisy.
Oopsie doopsie.
Can't believe she took a fatal shot to the knee. Yep.
Yup. Literally.
Hey, you.
Hey, you! Don't just stand there! Help the poor girl already!
Katayama scurried over to Chiaki. I'm sorry, Mr. Mino. Chiaki's voice bubbled with suppressed tears. Maybe it was cruel to make her run with her computer all the way to Harajuku, but the copy for her interview still needed to be looked over. They couldn't just leave her here. Minorikawa hesitated, undecided. Even at a full run, they wouldn't make it in time, and with traffic the way it was, there was nothing they could do. You now have exactly 1 hour remaining.
Damn it! What do we do?
Relentlessly, the clock ticked on. Oh, snap. What?
Put her on Katayama's back and then make it across the bridge.
What the heck? Okay, so we're at a keep out. There's a keep out here. A keep out here. Unless I was wrong to bring up Tanaka since it was going to be brought up anyway. Maybe I need to bring up Endo since that was also on the list. And that may let me jump to Achi. So we gotta keep out for that. I'm gonna try doing this and hoping that maybe it'll let me jump. Like, maybe Endo could work? Or Suzuki? I'm just gonna pick. Oh yeah, see, there we go. Now we can jump.
You smart bean.
I try. Workroom door slowly eased open. Yo! There they are! The twins! Let's go! Hachi was too shocked for words. The girl who entered looked just like Hitomi.
Maria! Hitomi!
Achi blinked in bewilderment. It was almost as if Hitomi were standing in front of the mirror. The two girls looked so similar.
Not like they're played by the same actress at all.
Yep.
Maria, thank goodness you're right. I'm so sorry I had you worried.
I mean, that's usually how a lot of these shows do it. Instead of having, like, actual twins, they usually just have one actor or actress play two people.
Yep.
Maria was safe, Hachi realized. At last he had managed to fulfill his duty. How did you manage to get out of the storage room? Oh, wait, how did you manage to get out of the storeroom?
Tell me. Who was it that came up with this kidnapping plan?
Suddenly, Daisuke shoved Maria aside and lunged for Hitomi. Stanley moved to stop him, but before he could intervene, the older man had a hold on Hitomi, pressing something that looked like a flashlight up against her neck. Dad? Achi started toward him, but Stanley held up a hand. Don't move, that's a stun gun.
A piece of self-defense equipment for repelling would-be attackers in electrical shock. There are several types, including baton-type stun prods and guns that fire needles attached to flexible wires. The latter type, especially, is frequently referred to in the US as a taser or taser gun due to popular models produced by Taser International, now Axon, if that's even still true. Stun guns are used not only by civilians but also by law enforcement and military personnel for non-lethal applications.
If he zaps her in the neck, it could kill her. You know your stuff. You deal in American electronics.
No, I do this for a living.
Stanley drew his gun in an instant, taking aim at Daisuke's forehead. I think we should probably defend our father, probably. Even if he's kind of insane. Wait, hold on. Achi interposed himself between Stanley and his father. Dad, let Hitomi go. You need to stop this nonsense. Achi walked slowly toward his father, a pleading look in his eyes.
Nonsense. Which one of us is talking nonsense here? You don't know what's going on. If you knew everything, then you'd be helping me.
What do you mean, everything? With this girl's heart, we can save Suzune. Dad, who was it exactly that told you that? Daisuke did not reply. I asked you a question. Who was it that put this crazy idea into your head?
A foreign organ trafficker I met at the hospital.
In Japan, a medical professional known as a transplant coordinator handles the liaison between the donor and recipient parties, but there are many cases of illegal or borderline illegal activity carried out by third-party organ brokers. There are countries where organ transplants are openly performed for monetary gain, and no shortage of specialists willing to do the job. These questionable markets include suppliers who source viable organs and tissue for transplant from cadavers.
Stanley let out a snort.
A likely story.
It's true, I was suspicious at first myself, but I couldn't just sit around and wait for Suzune to die. And after talking to him about her rare blood type and all the difficulties in performing a transplant, he promised he'd do everything in his power. Daisuke's hands were trembling. Tears welled up in his vacant and bloodshot eyes.
And a while later, he got back in touch and told me he'd found a potential match, someone with the same blood type as Suzune and roughly the same age, but then he told me that the girl was still alive. And so what was the point? Her heart might be a match for Suzune's, but it didn't matter if we couldn't get our hands on it. And I said that, but then the man told me.
He told you what?
He told me to abduct her and turn her over to him. After that, he'd find a way to make it all work.
At last, Daisuke had confessed. Now Achi had to try to come to grips with the truth he had just heard.
I had to do something! I had to abduct this girl and see things through. I just couldn't take it. Kotone had already been taken from me. The thought of losing Suzune, too. I had to make sure I didn't fail. So it was this organ trafficker who came up with the kidnapping scheme, then.
He kept his gun aimed at his target. Daisuke nodded.
Describe him for me. He was tall, had black hair, spoke fluent Japanese.
Stanley raised an eyebrow at that. Achi wondered if he had some idea who it might be.
In taking Maria Osawa hostage in order to lure out Hitomi, that was his idea as well? Yes, that's right. I allowed his computer to access my surveillance camera system as well, but then this morning I got a call from the hospital saying Suzune's condition was critical. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to help my girl right away. And then...
Daisuke cut himself off, reaffirming his grip on his stun gun.
I was looking at the surveillance monitor and I saw a detective I happened to know. He was right next to this girl here, and so I decided to ask him. I knew if I did, he wouldn't refuse. He would never refuse a request from me.
And that was the man with the cane?
His voice was low and hoarse. Yes, I was giving him directions while I followed you on the monitors.
Dad, you need to let go of Hitomi now. There's no point to this. Achi took another step closer to his father.
There is a point. If I kill this girl here now, your sister can get the surgery she needs. But even Achi knew that things couldn't possibly work out that way. His father had grown so desperate to help Suzune that he'd lost all sense of judgment. Why, Achi? Why won't you help me? Don't you want to save Suzune? Daisuke made a pathetic sight. And yet his desperation to save his child was so palpable it was heartrending. Achi thought back to that time he'd laid his father out when sparring. No matter how pathetic he may have looked, Achi had always felt that sense of paternal love from him. You're not gonna be able to talk him down. Achi shook his head. Stanley, lower your gun. Tears were welling up in his eyes. Please, lower your gun. Hearing the determination in Achi's voice, Stanley quietly complied. Achi stepped up to Daisuke, getting a firm grip on his father's slender shoulder. Give me the gun, Stanley! Dad, of course I want to help Suzume. Then why are you trying to stop me? Dad, do you think this is what she'd want you to do?
She would want you to kill someone for her?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Daisuke's face fell. Did Suzune ask for this, Dad? Did she tell you to take someone else's heart so that she could live longer? Did she, Dad? Suddenly, the fight seemed to ebb from Daisuke's body. The stun gun hung limply in his hand. If Suzune asked me to go and get someone's heart for her, I wouldn't object. I'd help her, just like she'd wanted. I wouldn't let you bear those crimes by yourself. But that's not what this is it? Suzune would never ask us to do something like this, would she? By now, tears were streaming down Achi's cheeks. He knew that his father thought about Suzune more than he thought of anyone else. And so he should know full well.
And that's very sad.
Yeah.
That he can't even think of his own son.
Yep. And so he should know full well that she would never want this. Yep. Yeah, this is Final Fantasy-ass music.
Suzune's not like me. She's smart, she's kind, and she'd never be happy about taking someone else's heart. Even if it saved her life, I'm sure she'd never accept that. She wouldn't be able to live with it, knowing something so horrible had happened to someone else for her sake. Isn't that the Suzune we know? Daisuke's cheeks were smeared with tears now as well. But then we're not going to be able to help her. The sound of father and son weeping echoed through the workroom. Maybe so, maybe we won't. But that's better than the misery and suffering she'd have to live with. Daisuke slumped to his knees on the floor, collapsing like a crumbling mound of sand. Hitomi, freed from his grip, stood motionless. There were tears in her eyes, too. Get tears off your cheeks. They don't go there. You're such an idiot, Dad. Such a complete utter idiot. Baka! Baka! Sobbing, Achi embraced his father. There was a sudden thud from near the door. Everyone turned to look. Maria had crumbled to the floor, and a newcomer had appeared. At some point, Kanan had silently entered the room. Now she cradled Maria in her arms. Standing in the doorway was a man Achi didn't recognize, his face pale. Oh my god! Jumpin'! Whee! After the young man's desperate pleading, the other fellow, apparently his father, finally gave in. He released his hold on Hitomi. The tension in the room was replaced by a sullen air of gravitas. Seeing father and son weeping as they spoke made Kano think back to his conversation with Teteno before the stakeout. What was it in people that drove them to do such horrible things? Sometimes it was the desire to save the ones they loved. Even such a heartfelt human emotion could drive someone to wrongdoing. Why? Why did people have to be like that? A sudden thud snapped Kano out of his musing. An instant later, Kanan hurried past him into the workroom.
Kano passed himself.
Yeah. Some surreal stuff
He
going
also
on.
has a twin.
Yeah,
He also
snap.
has a twin.
Crazy. Maria had collapsed onto the floor, and now Kanan was beside her. In a panic, Kano rushed into the workroom as well.
Stay back.
Kanan shouted as the others tried to huddle around the fallen girl. Please don't be what I think this is. Had the virus gone symptomatic? 2 hours ago, Stanley had told Kano that Maria was infected. He'd also said that her symptoms would develop for another 4 hours. Shouldn't they still have 2 more hours to go? Maria looks like she was dead, her eyes closed, her body motionless. Hitomi tried to approach, despite Kanan's warning.
Maria, what's wrong?
Kano held his arms wide to hold her back. Your sister has been infected with the UA virus.
The UA virus?
Hey, should you really be that close if she's developed symptoms? But Kanan didn't move from Maria's side. She calmly rested her head on the other girl's forehead.
That's no... God damn it. That's no fever. There's no blood coming from ears, no lymph swelling. I'll be alright. She hasn't gone symptomatic yet. In that case, why did she collapse? I'm not sure yet. Whatever the case, if we don't get her that antiviral, she's done for. Then we have to get her to the lab right away.
She was trembling with anxiety.
No, that's not an option.
Oh wait, no, that's me. No, that's not an option. You may already be aware, Miss Osawa, but without a password, we can't access the antiviral storage.
But when I went there, my father and Mr. Tanaka...
Mamoru Tanaka is dead. Murdered.
What?
She stared at him uncomprehensively.
No, that can't be true.
He was a member of a crime syndicate. It's possible they killed him in order to silence him.
So then, there's no way to save my sister.
There was a hollow look in Hitomi's eyes.
No, I won't accept that. Why? Why can't we help her?
But no one had an answer. Connor gritted his teeth and hung his head. Why did it have to come to this? He come this far. He come so far and gone so far, but in the end it didn't even matter. And he hated himself for it. Who's saying this? I'll go to the Oh wait, no, Kanan.
I'll go to the laboratory.
It was Kanan. Oh, it's not that kind of twins, Asher. Don't worry. These two are better.
Electronic lockpicking is my specialty.
Wait. So you're a martial arts badass, but your specialty is lock breaking? He looked positively dumbstruck. Kanan ignored him, thinking out loud. Brute force.
A cryptanalysis technique that involves test input of all theoretically possible patterns. If time were unlimited, this would be the most reliable means of decipherment. However, in practice, the process takes massive amounts of time in computational power and can be defeated by systems that prohibit access after a limited number of failed input attempts. Rather than trying to decipher the password itself, this method involves analyzing information from the device, such as processing time, power consumption, and electromagnetic leaks, and using these details to exploit the system. Isolating the run state of devices is a crucial element of countering cytonal attacks. A cryptanalysis method that used mathematical algorithms to carry out efficient bulk calculations against a block cipher that makes use of a shared key for encryption and decryption. Even when calculations are theoretically possible, however, in practice the process requires large amounts of time, and the block cipher is seldom at real risk. Brute force. Side channel. Shortcut. Given the situation, I think I'll have to go with side channel.
Side channel? Where's your equipment?
One of the lab PCs will suffice. I can connect to a special server from the net.
I don't really understand the stuff you're talking about. But
Of
I'll
course you
trust.
don't.
Yeah, but I'll trust you to handle this. I mean, you did risk your life to save Hitomi from that minivan explosion and all. But yeah, Kanan X Maria is so real. She's even laying in her
Yep.
arms. Oh my god. Oh my god!
Okay.
I got it out of my system. Kanan nodded.
I have to warn you in advance, though. Correct analysis can take hours and still yield no results. I can't guarantee I'll be able to get the doors unlocked before Maria develops symptoms. I understand. Not like there's much of the choice.
Yeah. Achi nodded too. No one present had any objections. There's a bomb? All of a sudden, there was a curious sound somewhere in the room. What's that? What's making that noise? Everybody leave the room. Leave the room. It's time to leave. It's time to get out of there. Guys. Guys. Guys, there's a bomb. That's my computer. I'm staying in the room. No, Azure, we're getting out. The bank of monitors, which had been displaying surveillance camera footage from around Shibuya, had all gone black.
Okay, Anya, you take Azure's head and I'll take the legs and I'll lift him out of there.
Heck yeah, let's go.
Or I'll just put him over my shoulder.
Heck yeah.
I'll put you both over my shoulder.
Let's go.
What the hell? What's going on, Dad? Achi joined his father, staring at the computer screens. It's all gone. The camera footage, it has been deleted. Daisuke blinked in disbelief.
Now then, it seems our main cast is all... wait. A man's voice, distorted by a voice modulator, suddenly emerged from the computer speakers. Oh snap! Hello!
Would you like to play a game?
Would you like to play a game? A moment later, the monitors all began to display a view of the inside of the workroom. Dad, what the hell is this? Someone's broken through our firewall.
Security system preventing unauthorized intrusion into a computer network. The term stems from a metaphorical reapplication of the concept of a wall meant to inhibit the spread of fire or other destructive forces. So if you didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
They've hijacked the surveillance camera system.
The color drained from Daisuke's face as he looked at the screens.
Where are they filming us from?
Kano asked, scanning... Wait, where are they filming us from? Kano asked, scanning the inside of the room. He used the image on the monitors to guess where the camera might be located. Over here? The lens of the camera set atop the computer monitor glimmered like an eye. It was a miniature camera used for web conferencing and the like.
Now that Maria told me about this, you're probably familiar with the situation at hand. It's only for a proposal. The laboratory password in exchange for Hitomi's blood.
Realizing now that it was Alphard's voice they were hearing, everyone in the room froze.
It's so close. We're only 1 hour from now. You do have to know with me. Perhaps you told me that the game order last perfect experience.
I just like to think that Alfred doesn't have a voice modulator on. It's just that he's wearing a mask.
He's Bane. And Asher being like, sorry, can you repeat that?
Repeat what?
Hanan clucked her tongue in frustration. Alfred had known exactly what the plan was. I'm trying to click through all of it.
Of course, I could not even get the door open in time. What will you do then? Maria showed the door, yes, but that's not all. You don't agree to be over. I have to be as a queen as another Maria. And it's done. These are JTs will spread the virus in Tokyo. The big doll will likely number in the hundreds of thousands.
It is difficult to predict the scope of infection in the event of a bioterrorist attack employing a highly infectious viral agent in a city with a large immobile population. In a worst-case scenario, some researchers estimate as many as several million infected in a matter of days. Played this in the pandemic.
Yeah.
So do it carefully to show the sign.
Alfred's voice was chillingly matter-of-fact.
And we care at the writing old person, as to me, and what do with the stolen soul to this is what it forward. I'm looking forward to the all again.
Silence fell. Dang. Then the images on the computer monitor returned to normal. The surveillance camera footage came back online as well. Daisuke promptly yanked out his Ethernet cable and slammed his fists on the keyboard.
Damn it, there was a hole in the firewall. I'll have to redo my security from the ground up.
Good call. We can't win this if our intel keeps getting leaked.
Stanley pursed his lips in consternation. What do we do? Do we give in to his demands? I mean, do we really expect he's just gonna blithely show up like that? He's practically begging for us to come and catch him. There had to be some deeper plan at work.
That picture looked like they were about to kiss.
Yeah! Yo! Let's go! The ships are all, like, almost all the ships are here. We have Kanan and Maria, we have Achi and Hitomi, we have Kano and Stanley. We just need, Osawa and Kajiwara, and it'll be perfect. The whole squad.
Plenty of gay.
Yeah.
If it means saving my sister, I'll do it.
No, you can't.
What? Why not?
Because if you do, you'll be killed.
What?
With the antiviral still present in your body a week after the fact, you're too much of a liability for Alfard to just let go. He's right! Don't do it! Hitomi, you can't go!
Even still, I want to do it.
Hitomi stared defiantly at Stanley. You still want to go even knowing that you'll be killed?
Can't just sit here and hope Kanan is able to pull this off. I want to do something for my sister. I want to save her. Can't you give her some of your blood?
Yeah, what? I don't
You should have
understand.
left me going. I'm sure of that. But I want to do what I can.
Why can't you give your own blood to her if you have the antiviral? Why?
And you have the bumbly blood so everybody can have it.
Yeah, what the frick? What the frick? I don't understand. They're like, we have
do
to go
things
and
my
get
way.
the antiviral when the whole reason Hitomi is being the one after is because they plan to use her blood as the antiviral, but they can't.
Right?
Oh my god. What the frick? No one tried to contradict her this time. She's willing to do a way that was Kanan, apparently.
If she's willing to take the risk, then there are things the rest of you can do too.
Let's hear it. He squared his shoulders. He was of the same mind as Hitomi. He couldn't just do nothing and leave it all on Kanan. After everything he'd been through, he wanted to stick with this case until the very end.
Apprehend Alpha at the rendezvous and demanded the password from him.
Kanan offered the suggestion as if it were a simple task.
That lets you get what you want without putting Hitomi in danger.
Kanan let out a sigh. Hold on, even if we do arrest him, how are we going to get him to cough up the password? We don't have time to drag him off to an interrogation room. And besides, he doesn't strike me as the sort to offer a confession that easily.
There is. Once Alpha has made contact with Hitomi, come as Alpha.
Hitomi tilted her head.
How are you? I have plenty of information Alpha might want to bargain for. I can negotiate with him directly.
Kano considered Kanan's proposal. I see, so we'll try both options. Attempt to hack the password at the lab and also try negotiating with Alphard. That gives us 2 chances. With that tiny ray of hope, Hitomi's face brightened some. We'll split into 2 groups, one for the lab and one for Shibuya. Oh wait, that.
What's split into 2 groups? One for the lab and one for Shibuya Station. I'm sorry, my voice keeps changing because somebody keeps trying to read my lines. Let's exchange phone numbers so we can be in touch when the time comes.
The group quickly shared contact info as suggested. Hitomi and Kanan called one another's phones to be sure. Hitomi's cheerful ringtone felt out of place, but also somehow soothing, a fragment of normalcy in the midst of crisis.
Well, guess we're all set then.
Her expression turned apologetic.
I'm sorry, Kanan, for having to keep putting things on you. Hey, don't worry about it.
She is my soulmate.
Okay, now I guess I should call my father.
Okay, oh, and then here we go. Hitomi called Kenji Osawa, asking him to let Maria and Kanan into the lab. There we go! We're all just... Yeah!
Osawa's cell phone rang. When he saw the name on the incoming call display, he nearly shouted out loud. It was Hitomi. Hitomi? Are you alright? Please tell me you're alright. Yeah, I'm fine. But Maria's... Maria? Is Maria there with you? Is she alive? Is she okay? Osawa's heart leaped. Dad, there isn't any time for me to explain everything. So I'll just have to give you the main points. This is so we can save my sister. So just stay calm and listen. Osawa struggled to hold back the 1,000 questions that immediately came boiling into his mind. There's a girl called Kanan who's going to bring Maria to the lab. She's going to try to hack the password in order to get us inside. Wait, hold on. Just what in the world is going on? There are a bunch of people here working to help save Maria. Can you wait for us at the lab, Dad? I'm not sure that electronic lock is something that'll be so easy to. We've got another plan in motion, too, and if that goes well, we might be able to learn the password. It was all too much to follow, but Osaru realized he'd have to take Hitomi at a word. Is there any hope of saving Maria? Alright, I'll do as you ask, but you said you're trying two approaches. You're not going to be in danger, are you? No, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me, liar.
Yep.
Okay, very well. I'm heading to the laboratory now.
You can't go!
The moment Osawa hung up and started for the house, I clung to him from behind.
If you use the antiviral now, everything will go public!
There's no way we can keep the virus or the antiviral under wraps at this point. Osawa tried to pull free, but his wife was stronger than he expected. Besides, if Maria infects other people, the whole world is going to find out in a matter of hours.
No, we can just quarantine her. If it's handled correctly, we'll still be able to retain secrecy.
Ai's voice was as cold as ice. Do you even have any idea what you're saying right now?
I do. I know how it sounds, but this is the only thing I can.
Her voice trailed off. He could feel the force of her trembling where she held him. Have I really put you into that much of a corner? Osaru slipped from Ai's arms and prostrated himself on the ground in front of her. I'm sorry. I'm truly, truly sorry.
Oh, stop this! Get up! If you're really sorry, then don't go to that lab!
But Osamu remained silent, his forehead pressed to the dirt.
If you use that antiviral without corporate approval, your time with Okoshi is finished!
That doesn't matter to me anymore.
How can you say that? Virology is the only thing you've ever cared about!
I began pummeling his back. Maybe virology is all that I care about. I don't know the first thing about anything else. I never wanted to know. Never even thought to find out. Never bothered to learn what you or my own children might think. I'm a failure. As a father and as a husband.
How dare you say that only after it's come to this?
I struck him again, harder than before. You're right, gasped out the words between her blows. Maybe this has been too long coming, but it's not too late. I can still start over.
Start over? You already turned down that American job. If you use that antiviral now, there won't be any starting over. You'll lose everything.
Will I lose you too?
After you've gone and thrown everything else away like this, how could I possibly stay with you?
I was sobbing softly now. Osaru wondered what her tears were for. But there was one thing he did know. She was right, they couldn't be together anymore. He got to his feet and headed back into the house, leaving Ai behind. I certainly wouldn't want to be with you after you tried to make me sacrifice my own children.
Yeah.
He hurried through the back entrance and went into the garage. Climbed into his car, fastened his seatbelt, and took a deep breath. And they need an ending where they have that first ending in Clock Tower where you try to escape in the car, but then...
Yeah, the scissor man is just in the back seat. Yeah.
And then the scissors slowly come up. And Jennifer screams. Like they do that. Oh, that reminds me. I can't wait for Clock Tower Rewind.
Yeah, me too.
The image of a younger Maria arose in the back of his mind. With giant scissors.
Yep.
Don't
There she was. There she was at that park, getting drenched by the rain, holding back her tears as she waited for her father. Wait for me, Maria. This time I'm going to come for you. I was wrong. Going to the lab wouldn't mean losing everything. He'd let too many important things slip through his fingers. Now it's time to go take them back. Osawa pulled his car onto the street and sped toward the laboratory. As if to signal that the long day was drawing to a close, the dazzling sun sank down between the buildings in the distance.
This sounds like we're getting to the end of his story now, and now it's only gonna be 3 left. Oh yeah! I called it. Okay, so we got that done. I think we're at the end here with this. Oh, and for Minorikawa. Oh, wait, what? What?
What?
Oh, I see. So Endo is not the right thing to say here. The right thing is still Tanaka.
Yeah. It's just that we needed to fix the whole thing.
That's crazy.
Okay, and there's that to be continued. So now it's just these two. So let's finish up Kano. And then we'll do Achi. And then that'll put us into the next hour. And then we can stop for today. Kind of leaned into whisper into Kanan's ear. Are you sure you're okay with this?
With the what?
I know that you're after Alphard. Are you sure you want to go to the lab and not...
Right now I want to save Maria. That's all.
She's the love of my life. Her tone was as curt and mechanical as ever, but there was a fierce gleam of determination in her eyes. Maria was clearly something very special to her, someone very special to her.
Something.
Yeah, I don't know why I said something. Alright, leave Alphard to me. He thumped himself on the chest. He'd succeed this time, no matter the odds. Kano could scarcely recall the whirlwind of events that had brought him here. He'd somehow survived a dozen disasters. Even now, a dear friend was in the hospital, at risk of dying. There were times when he'd been ready to give up, and yet at the end of it all, here he was. His opponent was an international terrorist. No matter how you looked at it, that wasn't a matchup for a mere detective. But I'm going to do it anyway. Rumi, Shizuo, Sasayama, and Detective Tateno. I'm going to take down Alphard and save Maria Osawa's life. Just you watch and see.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Heck yeah. And there we go, to be continued. And then finally, here, I'll skip, I think, most of this, though, because it's just the same, but from this perspective. Blah, blah, blah. It looked like Maria had fallen unconscious. Achi's heart was racing in his chest. An eerie silence fell over the room. For several seconds, no one said a word. Everyone was like, what the frick had happened to Maria? Yeah, this doesn't really work very well with the characters all in the same place.
Oh.
Oh.
It's starting.
Oh, snap. It's starting. What's starting? Oh, wait, never mind. We didn't have to see all of it.
The game is very well structured. That, like, you most likely would have had to have done the other thing before you could ever get to this point.
Yeah, makes sense. Oh, yep, there, we only have 3 now. Crazy.
The U is out the closet. Congrats.
Heck yeah. Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, no. Oh, snap. 18 to 20, there it is. We're at the last part, the last chapter, baby. Oh, snap. Oh, I can't even access Achi's. It's completely kept, like, locked. Achi's is locked from the get-go this time. Dang. Yep. But, oh my gosh. I can't believe we're finally here. It's taken us, like, the entire year to get here. But we're here, baby. Final chapter. Woo! Let's go.
And depending how long it takes, we will probably only be able to do one of them per stream for the next couple of streams.
Oh boy.
Because the last chapter and whatever else takes a while, so
I can believe it.
It's gonna take us like at least 5 to 10 more streams.
I mean, makes sense. We're kind of at the climax of the story now. Everything's come to a head. This is the final countdown, do-do-do-do, as they say.
Well, we've got 2 months to finish it.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll beat it before the end of the year.
Well, before I leave, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Believing in the dream. But once again, thanks for joining, Lulu. And thanks for hanging out in the chat, Azure. And thanks for joining Mew and Owen. All of y'all are the bestest beings.
Thanks for hooping and coming.
Gee. I'm excited to see where things end up. I'm really... I've really enjoyed this game the whole way through. I think it is a very well-made game. It might literally...
It is.
Depending on how this final section goes, I might actually say that it's probably... I agree with the Famitsu review that this is probably one of the best visual novels of all time. Because of just the way that it's done. Like,
it's so good.
It is really good. Like, I don't feel like there's any part in it where I felt like it was dragging or anything too much. And that, I feel like, is kind of a thing that's almost in every single visual novel, but yet this game is actually pretty good at keeping the story going and structuring it properly, so it's never dragging or you're not being forced to see the same things 5 billion times. But yeah, I think it's just so good. Honestly, like, there's a part of me that's like, I kind of wish that it would have become like its own like show or something, but at the same time it wouldn't have been the same without all the mechanics. And also, it's been years since this was made, so it's not even gonna be the same in that regard either, so... But it is very good. I've definitely been loving it.
It would only work if it became like even like a Netflix game, like they have, or like Markiplier Space or something like that.
Yeah,
that's maybe the closest you would come to it.
Yeah, possibly.
And still, again, you have to make it a game, so...
Yeah, that is true. It just wouldn't be the same without the game elements, because then you wouldn't get all, like, the possible bad ends and stuff, which I feel like makes the game the way it is.
And you wouldn't properly get the nuances of what people think of things and the misdirection and the unreliable narrator.
Yeah. Thanks
how
for
can you trust how can you trust a narrator when they don't even remember? Like with Maria.
Yeah.
Originally, Maria was it's a cat mascot. So
yeah. I mean, that's kind of the main thing about this. And what I've said before about like different art mediums is like each art medium has its like positives and negatives. Like there's certain things you can only do in certain mediums, and I feel like so many things of what makes this game work only work because it's a visual novel game, and that it wouldn't work in any other form besides this.
Because also this has a great way of keeping information. So one character knows something, but then another character doesn't. But they later do know it, but we also get to know how they get to know it. Because sometimes video games and movies do mess that up. It's like, how did they know that? They when were they told?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like sometimes it is literally just a deleted scene.
Yeah. I would say probably
and it's like,
the only thing that I think gets even close to this that's not a video game would be the first Stranger Things season. I think has a very similar like structure to this, in that we follow like characters that initially aren't like fully connected, but then end up all meeting up at the very end to fight the same like big boss. And I kind of get the same vibes from that here. Kind of the same structure.
This is also like, these are all seemingly strangers, but as we learn, like, they're all connected somehow.
Yeah.
That's extremely well done, unlike in other things.
Yeah.
Because the links can be very tenuous and out of nowhere.
Yeah. Anyways, I do need to go. Because it is
Me too.
late.
It is 3 a.m.
Oh boy, Lulu.
We already went later than I wanted to.
Yeah, we both did. We got too invested in trying to end the hour. Things got too crazy. But yeah. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I love y'all very much. Let's see who we shall raid. Let's see who's live. Yeah, I definitely need to go take a shower. That's like the main thing right now.
Stinky.
Uh-oh, Stinky. Let's raid. Oh, Mew is actually live right this very moment. So let's raid Mew. I love you both more, and that's a fact.
The most.
Y'all are the bestest beans, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.